Welcome to this meeting of the Government Affairs Committee of the Greater Yakima Chamber of Commerce. I'm John Devaney. I'm your chair of the Government Affairs Committee. We are very fortunate today to have 6 of the 8 candidates for Yakima County Commissioner joining us today. 2 of them could not be present. One, that was a late scheduling conflict, so we do not have a statement. Another candidate will have a written statement that will be read, though there will not be an opportunity for that candidate to respond to questions. For those present, we do have this being recorded and will be available on our website after the event. It is also being live streamed on our Facebook page. So Yakima Chamber members will have the opportunity to hear the responses and learn more about our candidates. This is a candidate forum format to present information about our candidates for county commissioner. It is not a debate. We're going to ask them some specific questions to elicit information for the benefit of the business community of Yakima. We'll have a short opening statement and then a few questions submitted in advance by some chamber members. If a candidate does call out another candidate by name, specifically challenging him or her on a particular issue, we will give the person challenged up to 30 seconds to respond directly to that challenge. But otherwise, the intent is to foster information to you, our members, and not exchanges between the candidates. Rather than having me do their introductions, we're going to recognize each candidate in turn to talk about themselves and their positions for 3 minutes before we go into questions. I have a red folder here. When I hold that up, that means your time is up. I will be using the stopwatch to be fair so that I don't subjectively decide who I've gotten tired of listening to. So you can trust the cell phones, right? You all have microphones on. Would you please just check and make sure those are all operating? Okay. We will take the candidates in order of seating, starting with the 1st district and then moving into the 2nd district. If you do have an additional question and are concerned that that maybe has not been answered, please just slip me a note or text me, the moderator, at 969-5170. And if time permits, I will ask that question briefly. We're not going to hand over the microphone for statements in the form of a question from our members today to respect the candidate's time. And again, our lunch format is a lunch format, so all of our guests, candidates, are able to continue eating your lunch while we learn today. And with that, we'll get on to our first candidate, Zack Samba.
Hello, obviously I'm Zack Samba. I'm running for District 1, as are a lot of people here. Well, let's see. I've been in this valley for over 20 years now. I love it. I chose to come back here and went to law school for the express purpose of coming back here with skills. Same for when I worked in the county in various jobs. I wanted to know the culture of the different institutions here so that we could have business, community, and a good long-term approach to the systemic nature of crime that we have here. I'm a business attorney. I help people start businesses. I do contracts. I worked in the budgeting aspect of the jail back when I worked there. I'm pretty familiar with all of these processes. I've done the board meetings and all the things that really have to do to actually make a real difference in a bunch of different institutions. And so I can see how this job can be done well. A couple of the things that I think Yakima County has going well for it is we are a very inexpensive place to live because we've got low property taxes and just low overhead on everything. That's good for business owners and the minimum wage employee and everyone in between. I want to keep it that way. I want to keep our permitting simple as it is relative to the other counties and simplify it more. I'd also like term limits. I don't think you should be in government for a very long time, and a practical way to make it so that any legacy programs that I have that I haven't finished get to their natural conclusion is to train people so I have a lot of people qualified to replace me, and then I can safely be happy done. Another one for me that is a very big issue is from city to federal level, we have the regulatory system that creates law by unelected people through a non-voting process. There's a public notice, a little thing back in the newspaper, a meeting and a comment session, but a comment is not a vote. And we don't have as much of that at the county level as we do at some of the other levels, but we do have it. We have boards that have the ability to set standards, such as, for instance, your burn ban standard, people setting the setbacks, The actual code has to be approved by county commissioners, but our regulations, anything that says regulation is unelected, and that's not representative government. And we as the county commissioners, assuming you elect me, have the authority to rewrite the code so that that authorization always requires either a public vote or a vote of the commissioners. That one's very big for me. Additionally, I think a national trend that's happened over the last 7 years is a transition to where 70 to 80% of almost every county and city budget goes to their law enforcement, which is good, but then 70 to 80% of that goes to traffic control, which is not good. We've been doing it so long, we think it's normal. It isn't. We should be moving back towards crime and property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Douglas Charles. I'm also running for County Commissioner, District 1. I've been a business owner in Yakima County for 24 years. I own a silver beach up on the Rimrock. I also own some other properties in the valley. I'm running because I believe that it's time for change in the county. I've been married for 30 years. I have 2 kids. We love Yakima Valley, so we have a vested interest here, as many of you do, and that's dear to my heart. So I believe that a county commissioner that runs a good operation feels the needs of the community around us, and our job is to represent the majority of what those folks want. So special interest, other things, many times cloud the decisions of government. I believe that we need to get back to a more realistic understanding of what our community wants. Yakima County is very specific in its needs. Does not have the same needs as King County. So we need to have local government that does not look outward to what other communities are doing. Many times we follow a trend of what other counties are doing. I do not believe that's the job of a county commissioner. We have state and federal agencies that look at the overall projects of state and, our issues statewide and government-wide. County commissioners should look inward to issues that directly are affected by the folks that live right here in our community. So we obviously have regulations that we need to abide by, but we are specific to the needs of Yakima County. This is an agriculturally based community. Many of the people that are in this community either are directly involved in agriculture or are definitely directly have a cause to it. So the other jobs that we have trickle down from an agricultural based community. And I think we are very advantageous to other folks. I think you're going to see many people move to the valley over the next 10 years because we have many things to offer the retirement community and others. It's a gorgeous area. Obviously, I live here and I love what I do. But the valley, every part of this valley has awesome things involved. We need to look inward, create a community that's safe. That's my #1 issue. Will be helping the Yakima County Police Department to create new and more jobs.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting us here for this chamber forum. It's a pleasure to be here and to share our respective viewpoints. My name is Mike Leda. I've served as your Yakima County Commissioner for the last 11 and a half years. I've been a lifetime resident here of Yakima. Been married to my wife, Deanne, for nearly 43 years. I have 2 children grown and 4 lovely grandchildren, 2 of them which are in Yakima, which is a blessing. So when I was first elected Yakima County Commissioner, Yakima County was financially adrift. Leadership was in the hands of the county administrator. And the Yakima County had engaged in a revenue-making scheme through jail bed rentals, which really had run amok. Today, Yakima County is financially sound. We have developed financial disciplines and policies that all elected officials engage with us commissioners once a year to formulate our respective budgets. We're led by 3 full-time county commissioners. We no longer have a county administrator, so we are direct representatives over the directing of county resources on your behalf. The jail crisis has been largely mitigated. It's still a work in progress, but it's a huge challenge that we faced, and we're working our way through that successfully. So today, Yakima County, the commissioners in particular, are very active in many community issues. We are a principal in the annual water supply efforts known as the Yakima Basin Integrated Plan. We've met with much success there. We've been back both at Washington, D.C. and Olympia receiving support and funding. And actually those early components are being implemented as we speak. We've also been engaged in groundwater quality needs that are in the lower valley, principally the groundwater management area. We're also proactively engaged, always have been, always will be, in economic development through the supporting investments in economic diversity and New Vision, the Yakima County Development Association. We're also very engaged in transportation. We're storing resources from our seed funds, our supporting investment in economic diversity. For the East-West corridor, we have stored about $6 million, and we also received state funding of $151 million to complete the first phase over I-82 and the Yakima River. So there will be a major corridor running from Terrace Heights clear out to Fruitvale Boulevard in the future. We're also engaged in homelessness. We just passed an act today to help the city of Yakima with a voucher program, and we are looking for long-term solutions, for homelessness. No, we're trying to avoid crises. And I will say that we are also engaged in simplifying codes. Thanks.
I believe that we had a representative from the Eric Geary campaign present.
Yes.
And would you please come to the front with your statement?
John, can you please have him use the mic for the film here? It'll come across a little clearer for
Yeah,
us.
I understand that the mic is, if you keep it too far, it's having trouble getting picked up. If you pull it as close as possible, or you can take it out of the holder.
Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. Dear Greater Yakima Chamber of Commerce, I personally would like to thank you for honoring me with an invitation to participate and speak at your meeting. Due to currently being out of the area for military service, I am unable to be present, but I have requested for this letter to be read. First off, I would like to thank all of the attendees for supporting our county through tremendous and often personal self-sacrificing efforts. All the businesses and persons that are in attendance are quite vested in our community, and when our community is successful, we are also successful. We are a nation built upon the ideas and ideals of liberty, and upon dreams that we as Americans can achieve great and extraordinary goals simply because we are free. But the ability to achieve our goals has been getting harder and harder to reach with the passing of each decade, much of which is due to the increased number of restrictions being passed by our state government, as well as those being created and implemented by our local government. Life, business, and dream chasing are no longer simple. Until we elect someone with confidence and whom are not afraid to stand up against the status quo, this cycle will continue. We have challenging times ahead of us, which is why we need a commissioner with a fresh perspective and a proactive nature. A commissioner who understands the importance of protecting what we have, our American principles driven by our Constitution. A commissioner who believes in limiting government control and removing it completely from privately owned industry competition, but one who also treats each business fairly by providing them equal contract selection opportunities. I believe I am the candidate to fulfill these goals. As a resident of our community for most of my life, but also a member who has held several civilian and federal positions globally, I come with a very unique background. My military service, private sector leadership, and business ownership has greatly prepared me for an executive role of this nature. Additionally, I am a problem solver, an out-of-the-box type of thinker when issues present themselves, and I will bring that background and capability with me to the Commissioner's office. My personality and past experiences enable me to respectfully and very easily work with people. I listen to people and represent their needs, not my own. In closing, working together for a prosperous community is my slogan, something I believe we can set as a dream and achieve together. So I ask for your support and your vote towards becoming your elected county commissioner. Thank you for your time and consideration. And Eric has a website, ericgeary.com. If you would like to visit his website and find out more information, he would be grateful for that. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. You've now heard from all four candidates in the first district. We'll now move on to candidates for the second commissioner district. Mr. Keith Effler was not able to be here. We received notice this morning he was called out of town for work. So our next candidate would be David Watson.
Hello, I'm David Watson, and thank you for having me. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm married. I have 4 grown children, 8 grandchildren. One of our grandchildren just finished his first freshman year at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore. He wants to be a doctor. He's studying public health. Another thing I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself is I retired about 4 years ago from Yakima Foursquare Church as an executive pastor there. And as the executive there, I did everything that the church needed to do except preach and do Sunday morning services. But why I mention these 2 things for you is Dave Edler and I grew that church from 300-400 to 1,300-1,400 people. We planted many campuses. We've got several churches plants. And these kinds of things just don't happen. They happen because you have some practical leadership that can evaluate the personnel and the people you have at your disposal and work with them to get the best you can out of them. And I have a long history of doing that in my career. Before working for the church, I was the director of operations and marketing at Regent University. I was a stockbroker, and I sold apples and produce here in the valley. So I have an understanding of business from a variety of different places. But I also, because I retired just a few years ago, want to put my executive skills back on the table. And that's the reason I'm running for county commissioners. I believe that I have the skills necessary to be an executive. It's much more than just an administrative role. Administrative role, in my opinion, are just the tools you bring to a job like this. You have to be able to manage people, to direct them, to plan with them, do that. But you need to have executive skills, which are really your leadership skills if you're going to go someplace. So that's one of the things I put on the table as a commissioner. Second thing is money never came easy to me and to the people that I've worked with. We've always worked very, very hard for it. And so I've always been reluctant to give my money away without finding out what I get with it. And in that regard, taxes is not the first thing I think of when it comes to do you have the revenue or the resources to actually grow and do what you want to do. I want to see what I'm going to get for the money I have. I want to be able to understand what your plan is if I say, okay, let's go spend that money. If you need to raise revenue / taxes in this regard, then make your case and let's figure out if that's the right thing to do. And then make the case to the people, because I don't spend money easy. Lastly, I'd like to just let you know that I am a full-time candidate. I've spent quite a bit of time looking around to get a good understanding of what the issues are. And there's not a single issue out there that's a part-time job. In fact, any one of them could be a full-time career if you so chose to make that your career. From development in the community to regulations to codes to working with other agencies outside of our county. This is just not a part-time job. It's a full-time effort, and I offer a full-time effort to do that. I guess the last thing that I would like you to just know about me and what I think is important is I'll get back to it at another time.
Appreciate all of you being so respectful of the time. It's very helpful.
Hi, I'm Deborah Magirus, and I'm running for District 2. This is the seat that Kevin Boucher is vacating. I am 55 years old. I've been married for 30 years, and I have 2 grown daughters. I've lived in the Yakima Valley my entire life. We live in Wapato, and my husband and I farm down there. He grows apples. Now, what I've been doing for the past 30 years is I'm a certified public accountant. I started right here with a firm here in Yakima, and the past 17 years I've had my own accounting firm. Let's talk about that just a minute to describe what it is besides just owning your own business. As a CPA, I deal with hundreds of companies, from small ones, construction, farming, service industry, car dealerships, hotels, and I understand all too well the burden that government taxes and regulation can put on our small businesses. They want to hire people, and they want to expand, and they feel like they're always being crunched by government at some point. I jumped into the race because I'm frustrated, probably just like you are, from the federal, state, and local level, that it's like government's gotten out of control. We give it the power, and then it takes on a life of its own. And so you don't build a CPA firm without being able to get along with the business owners, their bankers, their employees. I've helped them decide what kind of entity to run their business with, pension plans, help negotiate with their union contracts, employees. I love being a CPA. I love helping people take care of that little bit of the IRS that I do. But I've always been a leader in the Valley. Wapato area, I've been the Chamber of Commerce president down there for 14 years. That was where my kids went to school, and that's where I thought I needed to dedicate my time. But I needed a bigger forum to make a difference with more people, and that's really the reason why I'm running for Yakima County Commissioner. I look forward to working with any of the commissioners that are elected, and the electeds. Yakima County has a great group of electeds that run their departments very well. I don't come in with an agenda. I don't have a whole long list of things that, we need to change these things just for the sake of change. I have a couple passionate areas. One of them is the Growth Management Act. It's been around for about 30 years. It's a mandate from the state that all counties have to have a Growth Management Act. And it kind of came in quietly, and none of us really paid attention to what effect it is. And with one fell swoop, they took away a lot of our property rights when they did that. We have to comply. I'm a rural person, following the rules, but I'd like to see that change drastically. I'd like to see what we can do at the county level to give more property rights back to our people. And I look forward to working with our state legislatures to maybe let them see the light to get that changed. So those are a couple things. The last thing is that I live in the Lower Valley. Now, if that was the only qualification I have, is that I lived in the Lower Valley, that's not enough to run for county commissioner. But when you add it to the fact that my farming background and my CPA background, I think I'm the best candidate for this position.
Hello, thanks for coming out. I'm Ron Anderson. I'm the co-owner and broker for Dedicated Realty along with my wife Mary. I'm just beginning my 30th year in real estate full-time. I also understand that this commission position is not a part-time job. It is full-time, so we will make the transition when that comes about. I have lived in the Valley most of my life. I was born in Sunnyside, grew up in the Grandview, Mapton area, graduated from Mapton High School, attended YBC, and through my real estate practice, I continued my continuing education through various classes and designations and things like that. I have, over that time, I have served in various positions on the local Yakima Association of Realtors as president. I've served on the Home Builders, Central Washington Home Builders as vice president, did that twice, and served on the board of Habitat for Humanity, and many other aspects like that. So I have an understanding of how operations budgets are necessary, how they are limited, what needs to be done with those kinds of things. There is an opportunity here to continue all of the good things that are happening with this valley and with the county, is that we are in a very unique position, as are most of the other counties in this state, and that is we have pretty good leadership at all levels, whether it be elected officials or department heads and those kinds of things. We have a lot of people who are working for one thing, and that is the betterment of this county. And I want to bring all of my experience, those other things that I've mentioned, to this position so that we can continue to grow this county, make it a good place, not only a good place, but a better place for our kids, our grandkids, and others to come and live. You know, we also are understanding and seeing that we have a great amount of pressure on our agricultural business. Land is going up in price and demand. Water is my number one issue. We need more water storage. We need at least 5 years of water storage capacity so we don't have to worry about the ups and downs of drought years. We need to also continue to improve our safety for everyone in the county. We need to have recreation. We need to have all of those kinds of things come together. And we have, if you don't know it, if you haven't thought about it, we have one of the most unique educational opportunities here. We have vocational, we have technical schools, we have a medical school, and we'll continue this later.